Welcome to Stranger Connections, where I celebrate wonderfully weird people and quirky stories. I'm your curious beast and host, Lisa David Olson, the practically world famous business humorist, interactive speaker, and speaker trainer. Reach out if you need me to help reignite your team or event. Today on Stranger Connections, I am so excited to introduce Kathy Kalamity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Oh my gosh. So, you are up for an award. What should I guess it might be?
Yeah, let's see what.
Juggling,
Unless it's juggling men, no.
cooking,
Mm,
teaching.
those are all close because the category I am nominated for can be incorporated in all those things, but I'm nominated for Wisconsin Comedy Performer of the Year.
Really? Well, let's
Yes.
talk about what you do for your work and how you got this. Give me your background.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, as far as like my background in drag goes,
Yes, please.
yeah. Well, when I started out, I was not a very strong as far as aesthetic goes. So like my makeup wasn't good. So a really easy cover for being ugly is to be funny. So comedy just kind of came naturally from that because I mean, if you're trying to do Britney Spears and be sexy but you look like me, it's not going to translate. I guess that is a form of comedy in its own right, but
Yes, it
uh,
is.
I've naturally just always been an entertainer even before I discovered drag. So comedy has always been my thing. I've my sense of humor um comes from a lot of years of just like wanting to make people laugh and like honing that skill.
You absolutely do that. I had the pleasure of seeing my first local show, and I came just to see you, and I knew some of the other performers, and it was so much more than I ever thought. I didn't know it'd be so interactive and not just with each other with performing, but the whole room is with you. That's just
Yeah.
got to feel
Yeah.
incredible. Nobody
It
goes
does.
there to sit and pout.
No, that's right. Especially the brunch shows, which that's what you attended a brunch, right?
Hmm.
Um, those tend to be much more like that. It's a lot of fun to do a brunch show because people are there like they're a captive audience basically. I mean, they're having a meal, they're not going anywhere, you know, you've got them for this amount of time, and people just like to have fun. Those are my favorites because you do get to interact with the audience and they're in on the joke too, you know.
That is the best when people are in on it, and that's the kind of humor I like to watch and be part of. And you were the MC and sassy as a firecracker down the pants because you were just like playing with people, eating off of people's plates. I don't know if you knew those
Yeah.
people.
No, I don't know them, but you know what, I gotta eat. I gotta eat. I'm a hardworking gal. Give me a fucking pancake. Give me some French toast. Who's got the omelet? Yeah, I do like that for the brunch shows too. That's another easy thing. Like if you're ever, that's the thing about doing comedy too. If you're ever stuck in a performance, it's like, what can I do just to be stupid? And it's like, there's food everywhere. Bam, give me that fruit salad. Give me whatever you got. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It was killing me because some people would just die to be standing in front of people holding a microphone anyway. But
Mhm.
not only do you rock that in full drag, but you're also like, I'm going to take some food off a plate here and there. And I thought, oh, she must know them. And then all of a sudden, no, that just happened throughout. I think you did get a whole meal. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely for free. I don't pay. Never. I don't have to order. I don't have to pay. None of that.
The grazing MC. That's a lovely
Yeah.
thing to be.
Yes. And people
Well,
are most there for it. So,
that's right. Now, how old were you when you started wanting to perform? How did you know drag was your gig? I don't know how that goes. I mean, I'm a performer, but I always knew, like
yeah.
you said, it's being funny is a great deflection.
And being funny can translate to so many different mediums. So I did some open mics to try and do some stand up, and this is before I even really knew anything about drag. And I was a straight person, you know. Um, and it just wasn't. I wasn't feeling my image as like my boy self. You know, it just wasn't giving. I don't know. I didn't know what the character was. Is it myself? Am I adding some flair to it? So when I discovered drag, I was interested from the very start. Like it was something where once I kind of saw a little bit behind the scenes, I was like, I want to start doing this. And so I was probably like 21 because you have to, I went to my first drag show here at Players in La Crosse when that was still open. Um, and then I started performing, um, well, in 2019. So I don't know how old I would have been, but that was what now? 5 years ago almost. And May of
Hmm.
2019 is when I first started.
Oh my gosh. And so I remember Players I didn't get to go when it was years ago when I was growing up here, it was a pancake house. So the booths are
Really?
still sticky, I know, but yeah, it was a
Yeah, for
pancake
different
house.
reasons. For different
That's
reasons. So,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly that.
Oh, gross.
It
Ay.
was, yeah, it was a pancake house. Now you can throw axes there. So I mean it's definitely a
It's
hopping corner.
it's had a lot going on. Yeah, it's had a long history.
But then are all drag performers, not all of them are gay, right?
No, I'm not gay. I fall somewhere in between. I'm an equal opportunity lover. That's why I like to say, why deny myself any pleasures? But yes, no, I mean, Rain in Chaos, another local performer, is a woman. She's got a husband. She is a biological assigned female at birth woman performer, and a lot of people are confused by that, especially people around here because they have such a limited knowledge and viewpoint of what drag is. But yeah, I mean, there's even straight male performers. There's a lot of different things. Anyone can do it. You could do it, Lisa. You'd be great.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know what. Well, I did have a rapper on my show once, and he gave me my rapper name,
Yeah.
Inspector Quirky. So I'm sure if I delved into it, we would find my name. But
Oh
does
yeah,
that mean I
definitely.
would? So if Rain and Chaos is female portraying female, then it doesn't matter, does it?
No, because it's hyper femme. No woman looks like that on her day-to-day life. I mean, that would be rather shocking to see that. So it's like it's hyper femininity, and I mean the same thing when you think about drag kings. Like Tenacious Eddie, um, it's a spectrum and it's all playing on a spectrum. And I mean, I've portrayed more masculine leaning characters. And obviously, I do mostly the feminine ish side. I mean, again, women don't look like this either. So, but yeah, you can be whatever you want it to be, honestly.
I think women did look all made up extra back in the 80s when they were doing the glam shots and you get the boa and then there's like probably Vaseline on the lens to give that smoky effect and you look over the
Yeah.
shoulder and you would see it in like your dentist office and it would make you very oh there it is.
Yeah.
And it would be
Yeah.
very uncomfortable. Like I don't need to see your wife like that, doctor. I just need to be flossed
Hair
here.
up to here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Big
then
fan.
how long does it take to get ready? What is your favorite part of it? I want to know that part.
Um, yeah, the getting ready. It can take anywhere from I've gotten ready in as little as an hour and a half if I'm really strapped for time. I mean, the quality suffers, but if I like 3 hours. I like to have at least 3 hours. And that doesn't include the prepping as far as like the shaving, gluing my eyebrows down, so it can take like a 4 hour process. My favorite part of it, I would say, is it can look really crazy until like the last 20 minutes. So I would say in that last 20 minutes where you're blending things out, you put the eyelashes on, the lip, the blush, those last finishing touches really pull it together. That's why if it looks rough, you just got to push through because you never know in those last 20 minutes what could happen.
I can't imagine making it just all correct. You know, when I perform, I can't even think of all that stuff. Like for me, it's a lot of you've got the props as well. A lot of times I would have props and costume changes. And I mean, what's it like in the back room with all the performers? It's got to be chaotic because you generally like doing a brunch, you're shoved into a conference room. You're lucky if there's a conference room.
Yeah, well, at Javavino, we're actually in their storeroom, so it's fun. They'll come back. They're like, "Can someone hand me a bottle of vodka?" Um, we just we make it work. I mean, I've been in really big, nice dressing rooms, and I've been in closets. I've gotten ready in bathrooms and suitcases. People are stepping over suitcases in suitcases. It is a mess and it is chaotic, but I think it's in those moments of chaos where you're just like, okay, we just gotta grab stuff and go, and that kind of to me that makes it even more fun because sometimes it's like, oh, I left this prop back here, but I didn't need it because I just killed that number. So it's like anything can
Wow.
happen. You just got to be ready. I mean, in doing improv, like you got to be ready for what's next. You got to be, one eye on the door, one eye on the whoever.
I think, and you make a great point, because as long as you go in with a mindset, and that's anybody that would be new to it, I would just say, be ready for a crash because it will happen. And how are you going to handle that? And
Yeah,
what's your plan B? You better have that in the forefront,
right.
actually.
Were you still at the brunch when my wig came off?
No.
Yeah, so this is a good example. I had a huge giant wig, and sometimes it likes to stay on my head and sometimes it doesn't. And it just kept slipping, kept slipping. So, I just ripped it off and give it a whirl. Whatever, as long as people are having fun and laughing, I don't care. I'll do anything. So just not taking it too seriously, I think, is important too.
Right. And somewhere there was a grandma going, what just happened? Her
Yeah.
hair fell off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But that takes me to wondering, what about wardrobe malfunctions? I mean, there's got to be lots of pins and zippers and sequins and all the stuff flying around.
Yeah, yeah, there is. And I've definitely had wardrobe malfunctions before. And again, that's just like, I think what makes those moments okay is like the sisterhood and the community of it. Cause you're back in that dressing room and a zipper snaps or something broke, and you just kind of look around and you're like, okay, who's got something I can use? I mean, I've had dresses that ripped in the midsection because I maybe gained a little weight. I don't know. And I couldn't get it on. So it's like, thank God someone had safety pins and someone had a corset, and you just kind of strap everything together. It is really about the community. That's one of my favorite parts too, is just the people I've gotten to know.
And it's not just in the La Crosse, Wisconsin area. You are kind of going other places. What are some of the bigger venues you've been to?
I have performed at the Gay 90s in Minneapolis,
Oh,
a
fun.
legendary gay bar and nightclub. I have performed at This Is It in Milwaukee, which is the oldest gay bar in Wisconsin. And it is partially owned by Trixie Mattel. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but world famous drag queen, won RuPaul's Drag Race. Um, but again, people who aren't in the community might not know these people who I think are like gods.
Right.
Yeah, so I actually have been very privileged. Five Nightclub in Madison. I did drag league there this last summer, so I'm very lucky to have been able to perform at these legendary venues. And yeah, like I like to say, I'm the Midwest locally tolerated drag queen. Like it's I anywhere from Milwaukee to the cities. That's kind of my domain where I like to work.
You're that Midwest mama.
Yeah, yeah.
And somewhere along the line, you're up for some sort of an award. I'd like to know about that.
Yeah, so Wisconsin Drag Awards is next Sunday, the 14th, and like I said earlier, I was nominated for comedy entertainer, and I was also nominated for social media presence. That's because I like to make memes and silly things and post them online. You might have seen some of my work out there.
Yes, I have. I love it.
So I was really honored. Those were all community nominations. So I made it through two rounds of being nominated by community members, drag and fans alike, that were open nominations. And so on next Sunday, I'll find out if I won anything.
I love
It's
that.
like the Golden Globes of Wisconsin drag.
Yes. The cheese globes.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is really cool because you were saying how important community is in your sisterhood, and then here it is, a community award. That means a whole lot. That's way different than just begging for clicks and likes. It's others putting you up there saying that you're ready for that and
Yes.
acknowledging your talent, because not all performers are funny. Some are just brave enough to just go do it, which is also great.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm nominated next to some really like big names too. So I'm very honored just to have the two nominations. And I was also chosen to perform at the award show too, as part of the entertainment. So I'm very excited for it and very lucky and honored to have this opportunity.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Are you able to share what you're going to perform? Or is it a
Um, I
secret?
will I will say a little bit. It's actually I've been really into writing parodies lately, like crazy stuff. But it's a parody of an '80s song that I've been working on for a couple of years, and I've been really trying hard to get it right, and I think it's finally ready. And that's all I'll say for now. But if you look online after the award show, I'm sure you'll get to see some clips.
That's what's so cool about writing comedy. We have that in common that you and I put this out there for anyone. You have this idea. You should keep it in a notebook somewhere. Don't think you're going to remember it because that doesn't work that way. But it may not be ready until all of a sudden it is the thing and it is the time. Don't ever think it's not going to work because maybe you just need that secondary idea or just the right opportunity. I love
Yeah.
that you've had this a couple of years.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And it is in a notebook. Like I've got notebooks everywhere. There's a few running notebooks where I'm like, oh, I got to grab this and I just have to write it down. And some of the ideas go nowhere. Some of them make it to the stage. But like, yeah, like you said, you gotta have somewhere to express those ideas or you will forget them because sometimes it's the stupidest shit.
Exactly. Or you get together with your other friends and your other performers, and maybe they say one silly thing that just blows it up. And it's like, oh, I needed that one click. And I'm sure you
That's
provide that for others. I know that.
hopefully I would love to help people get inspired, but yeah, I agree with you. You're right. I one bit that I've not figured out how to do on stage so far is somebody, it's okay, it's a little bit risque, so I'll say this and I'm just going to put it out there, but it's somebody basically trying to hijack a plane just by like threatening to take their phone off airplane mode. And it's so stupid. It's like I will bring this whole plane down right now. Like it's stupid, and I'm like I don't know how I'll ever perform that, but at least I have it written down. So if I have the means, I can do that.
Well, it sounds like maybe you need your own sketch comedy show or obviously your videos. You can absolutely make that into one of your music videos. That'd be the opener.
That
Just have
yeah,
a
yeah. I should do more of that for sure. But if sketch comedy that you mentioned that's actually like that would be my dream. Like I would like to be like the Carol Burnett of the drag world and have my own sketch comedy show. Like
oh
I
my
love those
gosh.
kinds of bits. Like I love writing the bits and getting stuff together like that. And when it works so well, it just there's nothing better than that.
Exactly. When it works, it's great. And when it doesn't work, you beat yourself up for a day and then rewrite it. But
Exactly.
I've been on
Yep.
both sides. Yes. I think that's awesome. And thinking of a drag parody show, I mean, yeah, you can absolutely do that. But I think drags on a plane, like snakes on a plane, whatever you can do. Although
Yeah.
you would all fight over who gets to be the flight attendant, I'm sure.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the flight attendant. You get to wear that nice tight little costume and yeah. Oh yeah. Who doesn't?
Little kerchief. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Accessorize.
always about the accessories. Well, what would you tell somebody that either, well, I'll start with this. What would you tell someone that's not been to a drag show and they just think it's a bunch of people drinking or something like that? Because it's not, but what would
I
you
would say
tell them?
correct. Yeah, you're right. It is. No, I would say, I mean, it's art. I would say that first and foremost. I mean, I think the problem is at large, especially in an area like lacrosse, which or just the surrounding area here, people are they like to tie it to sexuality and they like to make it a sexual thing. I mean, I'm not trying to get like too political, but like just the people who want to demonize it, it's always about sexualizing it, where I don't see it at all. And let me tell you, there's nothing relatively arousing about being in this outfit. Like I am not turned on. I'm not about to go out and get some. Like it's about art. It's about building that character and doing those sketches like I talked about. So that's why I'd say it's no different than any other form of entertainment. I mean, it can be scaled to where it's for everybody. It's for adults only. You know, it's art. It's entertainment. It's like going to see a comedian. It's like going to see a band. It's all of that stuff.
Definitely. What a great way to explain it. And you're right. I think those that don't understand it haven't experienced it. And
No, yeah,
it's definitely about a love of music because you're seeing people perform to a song.
yes.
And what is that process like? Choosing a song and trying to figure it out. I'm sure you go through a few and then you finally say, that's not working. Now I'm going to try this.
Yeah, I have just like a running playlist on my phone that I'll add songs to. And it's usually like I'll catch a line in the song. I'm like, oh, how can I twist that? How can that be a play on words? Or if I'm writing a parody, it's like that kind of sounds like this. Another one I'm working on is Safety Dance by Men, or you know, what's that? Men at Work.
Men without
But
hats.
oh yeah, whatever. Men with it's pissed your pants instead of safety dance. So like stuff like that where I just like am saying it to myself. And some of them I listen to it so much that I'm like, this actually isn't that exciting. But yeah, I listen to a lot of music like constantly and wait for things to jump out at me, and I write them down and I see if I could build a whole concept off of it.
It's so fantastic. Like with Heart of Lacrosse, we did a whole musical on the potholes. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was that Turn Around Bright Eyes. I can't remember why we used that song, but I think it was about the bridges closed or something. I don't know. Don't remember, but I know it was fun and we got to wear cute vests, so that mattered.
yeah.
And so what would be your least favorite part about the costuming? There's got to be something that you're like, God, if only I could switch this, or maybe you're working on inventing something that makes something easier.
I would say I would go a different maybe a different route. I would say what I wish is that I could sew my own costumes because they are so expensive. And I'm kind of known in lacrosse. I'm the cheap queen. I will buy stuff off the rack and I will change it to make it my own. But I'm not. Some people are out getting custom outfits made for every number and everything they do, and I think that's good on you. That's awesome. I need
Wow.
somebody to give me some funding so I can do that. But
Right.
I just wish it was a little bit more accessible. I use Amazon.com often. I'm proud user of Amazon. Um, Fashion Nova is another website. So yeah, I wish it was just. I wish I could sew and make my own stuff because I have so many visions, but I don't have the coin to make those visions come true all the time.
Right. I know. And I think is sewing something you'd want to try and get a machine or just get to know somebody that you could do some sort of trades?
Both. I do have a machine, in fact, and I have very limited sewing skills. That's just something that takes a lot of time, and sometimes it comes down to would I rather spend my time writing numbers and comedy, or would I rather do that? Because that's the other thing about doing characters and doing comedy is you don't have to necessarily, like I said, if you're ugly and you have cheap costumes, be funny. Just be funny, and that forgives so much. So much can be forgiven if you're at least funny. So I will say I use that to hide behind. I hide my cheap costumes behind a good character number.
I think that works. I wasn't paying attention to the costuming in that sense at all. I think to
Good.
me it was more about it was I mean at a glance like right now you're in hot pink. It's a great color with that wig. I mean you're just popped of color. You're a beautiful little flower. But
Thank you.
when they come out doing a song, it's all about like Tenacious Eddie did a Weird Al piece, and I'm like, you're
Yeah.
kidding me, come on! And so
Right.
that stood out to me. I think he was wearing like a pizza shirt or something, and it was like
Yes. And see now
silly.
you as somebody who is a performer, you are a performer. That makes sense to me that you're looking for that. But people who are just like like the bachelorettes who are just looking to get wild on a Sunday at brunch, they are like there's definitely different audiences who are looking for different things, but they're not going to know that I have a reference to Mommy Dearest in my number. They're going to be like, oh, she's got no rhinestones and a scuffed high heel. And so it's like, I'm not for everybody, but like,
Oh, that's great. And we call bachelorette parties the woo girls because they're
that's
always
right.
thinking, woo.
Woo! Oh, yeah, the woo girls. That's absolutely right. Yeah, I love them. Some drag queens don't. I love them. Bring it on.
Right? Yeah, they're it's at least it's woo and not boo.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'll take a boo too, though. If that's all I can get, I'll take a boo.
A reaction's a reaction. I made you
That's
feel
right.
something.
That's
And
absolutely right.
so then what would you tell people to expect when they go? One thing I learned, you got to bring a bunch of ones or fives or whatever.
Or tens or 20s again. Just,
Heck yeah, personal
hit your
check.
budget. Yes, yeah. Hey, I'll take that too.
Mm,
I would say to people who are coming to a live drag show for the first time, adjust expectations because one of an issue with RuPaul's Race, which I'm sure you've heard of that show, right? Yeah,
yes.
is people have really high expectations of local drag queens who do not have TV budgets. So again, that's where I think people need to understand the artistry that comes behind it, the work that goes into it behind the scenes. I mean, because you see us come out and perform for like maybe 20 minutes max the whole show, but
Right.
there's hours and hours of work behind that. So I think coming to a show knowing that everyone's there working hard and trying to make you have a good time or present you with a good time, I think that's important. Just come with no expectations, then you can't be disappointed.
That is so true. And just the work that goes behind it is something that nobody would really know. And that would actually make a great video too, is to see snippets of the shopping, the putting together. And I know you did a makeup tutorial I caught somewhere. That was cool. You were just talking and doing your makeup. This is a while back, but
Yeah, I was. I don't do that very often. Because usually when I'm doing my makeup, it's for a show. So I'm like, I need to stay focused. I can't be messed around. But yeah, I think definitely people, that's like the social media thing that I'm nominated for. People are like, well, what's that mean? And it's like I think I'm doing a good job and always getting better at marketing myself to people and pushing my brand out. I mean, I think based on what I present online, which some of those edits hours of work go into, people are pretty clear on kind of what I'm about for the most part. My brand is clear.
yes, that is something that most people wish they had. And you are right on that. And you're definitely in tune and get people going. Well, what have I missed? What is something else people might need to know that maybe my little brain didn't pick up on?
Oh, I think that well, this is something that it's gotten better, but kind of answering that question too about what people should expect when they go there. And this ties into the woo girls as well. That even though we are clowns performing, we're also people too. And so I think people just really get stuck on the character aspect. And, at a show, people I haven't had this happen for a while, but I've been like held hostage by people at the show who like they think as long as they're giving me money. I mean, I've had people who grab me and won't let go, and they think as long as they're giving you money and stuff that they
Oh,
kind of
wow.
have you, you're theirs for that moment. And I just think I want people should know and remember too that while you're coming in, you are giving us money, and we are very thankful for that. Like, keep your hands to yourself. I mean, you wouldn't be grabbing on, whoever, Lady Gaga, not like I'm her, but you can't be pawing at entertainers, people. You gotta let us do our
Right.
thing.
Right. It's not a petting zoo.
No, no. And I always say too, you'll know if I'm inviting you to be a little more interactive. I mean, I think that's another thing too, is reading the audience. And if you don't want to be there and you don't want to participate in that, that's fine too. Then just don't show up.
Just drop off your tips and get out.
Yeah, yeah, just drop off the money and go.
There's so many times with Heart of Lacrosse with improv, and we have an upcoming show as well. And you might bring somebody up on stage, and people don't realize the dynamic that it takes to invite someone up is studying. All right, he's been drinking, can't have him up because he's toasted. She's been loud the whole time, and that's a heckler. All right, that person has been engaged and smiling, seems to be enjoying it, doesn't look fried. That looks like a good person. It's interesting.
Yeah.
People just think it just happens.
No, that's so true. And that's kind of like I like, during my first number, I'll kind of come out and I'll be a little more, it's kind of like you're hunting because it's like, especially as a host and trying to fill with banter and stuff, it's like who's my person out here in the audience? Who can I rely on where if I have 2 minutes to fill, I can kind of fuck with this person and they're gonna be okay,
Yes.
they're gonna volley back. So as a host, it's really important to be looking for where are those people at in the room.
Fantastic. You are right because you always want that one person. Even when I'm a corporate speaker, I have the one person I pick out because I have a little thing I do, and you always want to have the guy that
Yeah.
hopefully isn't writing the check because you don't want to make him mad, but also, can play with you a little bit. And
Right, you don't want to ever bring a dud up on stage with you
ugh,
because it's
no.
not everybody's thing to be on stage. So it's like you drag some poor creature up there and then they kill the buzz. I mean, then what the hell are you supposed to do? You can
Exactly.
always, I guess, make a show of kicking them off stage. I don't know.
Watch your step. Bye
Yeah,
bye. Well, I can't let you go without asking you to share a dare or a prank story, one you've done, had done to you, or just one of those ones that you share all the time because you've known about it.
yeah. Okay, so this is not drag related. And this is kind of the most entertaining story I can come up with. I was about 13 years old and camping with my family. And of course, in Wisconsin, camping is a fancy word for drinking outside. Um, and so everyone's pretty much toasted, not me, because I'm 13 and an angel. But my uncle had this Winnie the Pooh costume, like full Winnie the Pooh costume with like head and everything. And so someone had the idea, dared me to put it on and then run through the campsites, like strangers' campsites. So, because it's like a site separated by like 30 feet of wood, and so it's like people around their fires are listening or hearing something crashing through the woods, and then it's Winnie the Pooh kind of running up and running through their campsite, and it kind of got dangerous. And this is something I would not condone. I started to hug people non-consensually. Unfortunately, I was a kid, I didn't know better. So like imagine you're this like 50-year-old guy, you're a case of Bush Light in, and all of a sudden Winnie the Pooh runs out of the woods and hugs you. Well, this one guy got kind of pissed after like the third campsite. I hugged this guy and got mad, and he sicked his dog on me.
Oh no.
So I'm running up down the road from this dog, and my dad and my uncle are like trying to stop this guy from like kicking my ass. They're like, he's just a kid, he's just a kid. But so it was kind of a dare prank, uh, avoiding an ass kicking situation.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard one close to that.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
and yet you were in costume again. So there is a correlation.
Ever the performer, ever the entertainer.
Giving out little poo hugs.
That's right. That's right. Just spreading love and joy. That's all I ever do.
Would have been great to just go back in 2 days in an Eeyore costume or, just
A little more sullen, like, oh hey.
exactly. Pick up my tail. Oh my gosh. All right, Kathy Kalamity. How can people find you if they have questions, or how can they learn more about where you're performing so they can come and watch and
Yeah.
participate?
I am Kathy Kalamity on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok too. So if you go, I promise you, I'm the only Kathy Kalamity. So if you go on any social media and search that name, um, you will find me. And I'm really active on Facebook. That's the biggest one. So you'll find information for all of my shows there. I don't know if this is going to be released or if it will, but
Mhm.
January 13th, this coming Saturday at the Main, downtown La Crosse, I'm hosting a show, Attack of the Clowns. So
And what does that mean?
it's a comedy show. So I'm bringing in comedy performers from anywhere from Minneapolis all the way to Milwaukee, and I'm bringing them here. We've never done like a full on like comedy themed show in La Crosse, so I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
This is great. All right. So people have to get a hold of tickets quick because that place sells out fast.
Yes, that's right. And the links are always on my Facebook too. So you just on the post, there's the link to the tickets. And tickets are always cheaper if you buy online than they are at the door. They're $10 more at the door. So buy online.
Oh, yay. That way you make sure you get a seat. There's a bar there so you can get your sodas
Yes.
or your adult beverages and all the things. So
Whatever
awesome.
you.
And it's Kathy Calamity, K for Kathy, K for Calamity, and you'll find her
Yes.
online. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. This has been so fun. I'm honored to have chatted with you, Kathy Calamity. And remember, we can only be strangers once. And I invite you to stay weird.
Already there.
Thank you.